From Capitol Hill to Wall Street, this is Politics and Profits with your host, Rick Amato.
Welcome, everybody. I'm Rick Amato. It's time for Politics and Profits.
We follow the trends on Capitol Hill that lead to the profits on Wall Street. We expose the hard facts of what your elected officials are doing when you're not looking. And we show you how you can profit from their politics. The American dream is alive and well, and you can be proud to call America your home. And now, it's Rick Amato.
All right, welcome, everybody. I'm Rick Amato. I hope you're staying safe out there and healthy no matter where you are in America. We're back on the air here at Politics and Profits. Had a brief little, went to the sidelines for a few weeks as we moved our studio into our home, quite honestly. A lot going on, obviously. This is where we cover money, politics, and current events, but we give it to you in a Main Street American grassroots fashion. We give you the information, not for institutions, not for the benefit of Wall Street senior executives. We bring on leading experts in money, politics, and also, as I said, current events to give you information how you can use at that American Main Street fashion. Join me this time, as he often has, is the CEO of Blackhawk Partners. He is also the author of a best-selling book called, listen to this title, folks, it's a great title, Startup Saboteur: How Ego, Incompetence, and Small Thinking Prevent Wealth Creation. Joining me this time from Manhattan is Ziad Abdelnour. Ziad, good to see you.
I see you a long time.
It's been a while. It's been a while. Now, look, one of the things that really upsets the American media about Donald Trump, one of the things that upsets the establishment in the political circles in both parties is that Trump is his own man, and he's pro-American. He's anti-globalist. You've been saying for a while that Trump is taking control of the Federal Reserve, and this is blowing up the minds of globalists and the billionaire elite class around the world. What's going on here?
Well, yes, I've been saying that for a few months now, and nobody believed me. What has happened? This has never happened. No president ever in the history of the United States ever did this. They dare doing it, but they end up assassinated. All of them who dare doing it. So this is a game changer. The Federal Reserve has been in business, independent private entity, since 1913. So this is 107 years later. And now we're talking about total control of the Federal Reserve by the Treasury. In other words, by the Trump administration. It has advantages and disadvantages. This means really that the administration can now move the Dow in case, because the Fed has basically given the permission to the Treasury to print money, to see the direction of the Dow. The problems between Jay Powell and President Trump in the past has put President not happy about the direction of the Dow and the Fed exerting control. Well, it's not going to happen anymore. But at the end of the day, it's a double-edged sword. But also, this frees the markets a lot. This whole central banking plays have been controlled by the Rothschild for hundreds of years. Not anymore. And that's a huge liberation. I really believe at the end of the day, and I encourage every country to follow the U.S. example.
Now, you said it has its pros and its cons. What's the concern you may have?
The concern you have is that you have a lot of control in the hands of you may have a lot of control in the hands of an administration that's not pro-growth and pro-capital.
Good point.
It's great news for an administration who is pro-growth and pro-capitalism, but for how long? I mean, I hope, we're going to have such administrations for a long time. But, this is why it could be pretty controversial. But on the other hand, I was always against the presence of the Federal Reserve.
Yeah.
It basically muddies a lot the waters. And in every country, most of the problems come from the central banks. And by having the central banks as independent entities operating the way they do, has created a lot of problems.
So
it's a new model. It's not a perfect model, but I think it brings much more power and clout to the United States, to the administration, and we'll see how it fares.
And for our viewers who may not have been following it closely, update them on the step that's been taken to bring the Federal Reserve under the power of being independent.
I'm sorry, repeat that question.
So what has the administration done to take control of the Federal Reserve? For viewers who may not be following the story closely, what steps has Trump done?
I mean, they brought into the equation BlackRock, who is the biggest money manager in the world, under the leadership of Larry Fink, who manages $20 trillion, and if not even more, I don't know the exact number, but at least that number. So BlackRock will be executing the trades, not the Federal Reserve. Will be really the buffer between the Treasury and the Fed.
I see.
All the trades will be executed through BlackRock, which is basically, Larry Fink is an extraordinary businessman who knows what he's doing. Look, at the end of the day, it's not a question of just printing money. There is no money. Everybody's printing money. BlackRock has money. They manage over $20 trillion. It's easy to talk in general and keep printing money. This has got to change. This circus has got to change, and it is changing.
Ziad, let's shift gears for a moment. Trump, of course, is saying, look, my job is to balance health and the health of the economy. My job is to balance what's the situations, the circumstances the nation is facing. Blue state governors in general, not exclusively in general, are saying we are going to open up slower. We are not going to risk our people's lives unnecessarily. Red state governors in general are saying people need to get back to work. This is a real risk politically. I mean, once the red states people start going back to work and the economy starts coming back to some sort of activity, politically that puts blue states in a real awkward position, does it not?
There will always be a risk, whether you open or you don't open. But you've got to open. You're going to take that risk. It's a risk worth it, opening. The risk of not opening and shutting down the economy and the nation for an extended period of time is bigger than the risk of not opening. So, some people are going to be smart about it. Some people know what to do about it, like in Florida, the governor of Florida, Ron DeSantis. He really was brilliant at it. He focused on the nursing homes, went after the nursing homes, and let the other guys out. Other governors are acting pretty much like dictators. I'm not going to name names. We know who they are. They are being absolutely obnoxious about it. Look, at the end of the day, there's the Bill of Rights. We have our rights. We're not kids. We are adults. You want to take the risk? Go out. You don't want to take the risk? Stay home. Nobody's forcing anybody to do anything. And nobody should force anybody to do anything. And if they don't want to do it, they take their own risk. Their economies will collapse. But you can't have a collapsed economy and come back later, like they're doing right now, and ask for $3 trillion in aid, for a bankrupt state. You can't do that. We can't keep printing money forever. And now the whole situation of printing money is going to change also with the change at the Fed. Especially if Trump, this hasn't started yet, but if Trump is reelected, which I believe he will be, it's a different ballgame, completely. Even if the Congress is still Democratic and has the majority, it's still going to be a totally different ballgame because the Treasury is under, works for the Trump administration, works for Donald Trump. So you can see right now, effectively, if Trump is reelected, Trump will be like the Fed chairman, who determines interest rates, who determines stock market, who determines direction of the economy, whether Congress is majority Democrat or not. That's a totally different.
Yeah, I agree. That's a great point. And it also comes back to your point you made earlier, the pro and the con. The good news is when you have a businessman pro-growth like Trump in office, it's great to have control of that Fed. When you have a socialist in office or a democratic socialist, then it's a whole different game. Ziad, we are out of time, but in less than 30 seconds, do you feel that with the printing of all this money, we're about to see great inflation?
Yes, but not at this point. It's going to take some time. And also it depends at what rate we open up the economy. If it stays too long shut down and we keep printing money, yes, it's going to accelerate very quickly. But we still have not reached the point of no return. We can turn this around pretty quickly if the economy opens.
Ziad Abdelnour, CEO of Blackhawk Partners, author of the best-selling book, Startup Saboteur, How Ego, Incompetence, and Small Thinking Prevent Wealth Creation. We thank you for joining us.
Thank you, Rick.
Back after this.